Hello there, folks. I'm Dan Brown from Sort of Interesting, and today you are joining me in the Banana Box studio to take a look in my current diaries and talk about how it's evolved over the last 5 months or so, and really just have a general catch up and a chat, as it's been a long time since I've done one of these talking to camera videos. Always say I'll do more of them and then never actually do. Anyway, so just for anyone who's unfamiliar, you may or may not know that I absolutely love pens and writing and dip pens and fountain pens and diaries and all that sort of stuff. So I thought I would just give you a general catch up, as I've got diaries that go back to my early teen years, like 15 years plus at this point. So I'll leave a link in the description to some of my older videos looking back at some of my childhood diaries. And well, let's dive in and have a look here. First thing as well, if I appear sort of slightly dazed and out of it, I apologise, as I was up till 4:30 in the morning the other night watching all of the election chaos unfold. So that was fun to see the sunrise, beautiful to see it rise over the town from up here. But again, that's all distraction and I'm paying for it now. Anyway, let's dive in. So what I started out doing was my usual diary style, which was writing just simple single diary entries every so often, maybe once every day, maybe once every couple of days, and just try and write regularly and catch up with little bits and pieces, recording all of the stuff that's going on. But that's changed over time, which we'll talk about in just a second. So I try and do little bits of drawing and stuff like that, but I am no artist at all. So you can see there, that's a general idea of what my drawing is like. So let's get stuck in. On the 1st of the year, 1st of January 2017, this sums up a very bleak start to the year, really. So here we are. For the first time since 2012, I am starting a new year without a boat. Today I awoke to the sound of rain hammering against the skylights. It has been one of the wettest and coldest days for a while, one of the very rare times that I actually wore a coat to work. So it must have been bad. Literally saying, so it must have been bad to myself. Weather wasn't really an issue today, as I worked 9-5, so by the time I finished, the sun had gone down and a freezing dark had set in. So sounding pretty down and pretty bleak in that, to be fair. But soon enough, let's have a look. Tuesday the 3rd of January, a very pleasant day. Met Manning, one of my friends, and spent an enjoyable few hours walking around town and up the Copy, which is just a very small, it's a mound of earth rather than an actual hill. I can see it through the window right now. It's just a little local sort of park area. Spent a lot of time working on the book today, a nice calm activity. I'm very happy with how it's going. Met a girl and went for a drive round tonight. It was nice, good fun. And so that was a nice day. So that's finally the 3rd day of the year that things were perking up. One of the things that I've done a lot in this diary is just randomly changed from ink to ink. So I've got all sorts, like we've got red and blue and pink and coral and purple, turquoise, all sorts going on, because I've got a few different fountain pens that I like to cycle through. I just love writing in pens. So let's have a look. Saturday 7th of January, a couple of productive, peaceful days. I am very happy to say that first week of 2017 has seen me actively taking steps to achieve my future goals. Lovely stuff. Now, what's interesting here is, again, it's not interesting, but what I quite like in these diaries is just looking at, even now, a few months later, how much my drawings seem to be absolutely appalling, really. This is meant to be a nice frozen lake with the hills in the just sort of in the background, and your spiny wintry tree without any leaves there. And again, not the greatest artwork, but it's something that I enjoy doing. Again, if we have a look, this one here was an attempt at a country lane. So you've got the lane going between the hedgerows, your telegraph pole, and again your naked tree there, your road signs for tractors on narrow lanes and farm animals about. So yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that in here that I do thoroughly enjoy, but I find I don't really have the time to do too many of those drawings. And that's because I've spent so much time writing so many short books this year and working on ideas that I've had for years and years and actually getting those down written and stuff. So that's cut into my diary writing and really altered how this diary's gone over the course of the last 5 months or so. I mean, the book's almost finished, or almost full at this point. So let's have a look. I mean, there's just so much in here when I look at it, and so many little things like meeting me friends and all this sort of stuff. Friday the 13th, shocking day. A calm few days, just the usual book writing and general tinkering. The weather has been all over the place recently. A bit of snow, rain, sun, very cold and very icy nights. Today I looked out of the window to find a sparse white sprinkling over the rooftops. Not much, but the best we had managed. Been enjoying my writing, biking, little walks and Jasper visits, etc. So life's just ticking over as usual, visiting me friends, walking, biking and generally milling around outside and doing an awful lot of sitting at the desk getting these books sorted. And really summing that up perfectly is Sunday the 15th of January, if I can get that top part in, which basically says, a calm day at work, not much to report from life in general, ... writing, ... you get the idea. So that really sums up, as I say, I mean, I even noted and took a moment to specifically note that there's not much going on because all I'm doing is writing my books, which you can find links to in the description below. So anyway, sorry about that. 1 second. There we go, just altering, there's a little buzz coming from the light there. So something that I love, the diary entry for the 20th of January. Now, does anybody know what happened on the 20th of January? Not only did I go to Lake Vyrnwy, beautiful lake here, in front of the hills and all that. Not saying the picture's beautiful, the real life thing is beautiful compared to that especially. So, what happened with January the 20th, 2017? What a day. Firstly, Donald Trump is now president. Secondly, I had a great afternoon out at Lake Vyrnwy with insert girl's name. So, yeah, I always remember that. As after watching through 2016, the unbelievable rise of Donald Trump from this, not obscure figure, but just outside obscure political figure at least, to then full fruition of actually being inaugurated on, I mean, just incredible. I mean, unbelievable. I'd love to know what people will look back in 50 years' time and look to our time and see what's going on, what they'll think about it, and what people will know about behind the scenes and all of that stuff, what went on behind the scenes in the Trump campaign, the Clinton campaign, the DNC and Sanders and all that stuff. I'd love to be able to fast forward and just see what people think and what's come out of the woodwork and what secrets have been exposed over the years. But anyway, I'll just have to try and live that long and be one of those people looking back in 50 years' time. So, what a day, as I say. Firstly, Donald Trump is now president. Then, obviously, went out to Lake Vyrnwy. Absolutely perfect day for the trip. We drove around the lake with the late afternoon sun starting to dip behind the big old hills, stunning clear blue skies, the naked winter trees being lit with the orange-yellow light of a low sun, the hills and mountains on all sides, the old stone dam all being reflected in the barely rippling expanse of Lake Vyrnwy itself. Nice poetic thing. You can tell that I was with a girl and thoroughly enjoying life at that particular moment. Perfect, incredible scenery matched by the immense peace and sometimes seemingly total silence that permeates the lake, veiled and hidden by mountains on all sides. So yes, it was a good day. There's my little attempt at drawing the little water tower that sticks out in the lake. Very strange building. So Lake Vyrnwy, it's absolutely beautiful place, and because it's out in a really rural area amongst the low hills of what I call near Wales, it's a really quiet place anyway. But then, because it's just a great big open lake surrounded by hills and mountains, it's insulated even more from any external signs that do exist. Absolutely wonderful place. So I'm going to pick up the pace here as I see that I've been witching on for quite some time. But yeah, there's so much stuff going on in all this. It's like meeting different people and all that stuff. To have a look. Met my friend 24th of January. My friend who I know as Welsh Tom came round for a few hours. Trip to KFC, classic. Spent hours at the flat talking about all kinds of random stuff. Proper good laugh. 26th of January, got a proper bad chest with a little sad face next to it. So really, I suppose, as the diary continues, I start moving away from trying to draw pictures, and what I found is that as I've been trying to write so many different books basically over this year, that was an attempt at a different style of picture for me, where it's all just black and white. Country lane's meant to be going down between two steep hedges on either side, with another spindly tree here without any leaves on it. It sort of catches the mood of what I was trying to get from the scene of just a damp, dreary day, but it doesn't actually capture any of what it looked like. As the year went on and I continued writing all of these short books that I've been writing, and because I had so many different ideas stacked up from when I lived on a boat that got put onto the back burner all the time, as I've been trying to work on some of those ideas, there's just been that much that's suddenly come to the forefront. So I found that the last thing I was wanting to do really was sit down and do loads more writing in the evenings. Now, I love the therapeutic, calming activity of sitting down writing my diary entries, and it's something that I used to do all the time as my last thing of the day. But I found, as I say, this year, because of the sheer amount of writing that I was doing anyway, start looking at a screen and stuff in the evenings, and then getting a pen out and doing this, wasn't exactly what I wanted to do even more of. So I found that I'd maybe leave it a couple of days and then catch up on a few days' worth as the year went on. And I would be writing in the mornings or writing in the afternoons rather than at night too, which ultimately led me to then not be doing as many drawings and things like that. And so I started to just try and just stick in random pictures of different details and stuff from the different things and walks and bike rides that I was describing in the diary entries themselves. So a lot of stuff over the last couple of months, exploring the old abandoned railways and things like that. And of course, things like going down the canals and doing my canal walks and all of that too. And really just catching up with all of the general wondering and that. And as I say, trying to get away from the desk and away from just staring at the screen typing away all day to doing more and more. Oh yeah, right, remember when I was fit and healthy and really doing thousands of miles all the time and not thinking about it. And I'm glad to say that as time's gone on, I've got to the best shape that I've been in for years and years at this moment. But more on that in the future, I'm sure. So yeah, I do really thoroughly enjoy doing this sort of stuff. But because of the time constraints and because of the general nature of trying to do all of the books and that, what I've ended up doing in more recent times is during April, I didn't actually write any proper diary entries for the entire month. And I just took notes and noted them down on my phone. And then at the end of the month, I wrote one long essay about April. So it's like an actual narrative, proper running through of the month in one go. So it puts a bit more context in, but you do lose the general sort of personal feelings and thoughts of the moments from day to day. So I think maybe going forward, I mean, what I've done in May is tried to do two separate ones, so one at the halfway mark and one at the end of the month. But now I am going into June looking and thinking, right, I'm going to do one at the end of each week. So it's less of a, oh yeah, do me diary entry, oh, I've almost forgot to do the diary entry. And it's more of a, right then, it's Sunday, I'm going to talk about the last week, and it's all still relatively fresh in my mind. Do that, get it out of the way, maybe draw a little picture to go with it, then move on to the next weekend and do the same. So that's what I'm doing and what I'm thinking at the minute. Gotta say, I do thoroughly enjoy having these to look back on. So I definitely want to keep writing, even if it's just a once a month essay, then I definitely want to make sure that I've still got this. As I say, looking back now at 15 years ago into my old diaries and seeing what I was thinking and feeling is fantastic. And I just think when I'm 45, looking back to when I was 30 and turning 30 is also hopefully going to be interesting, and hopefully there's going to be a lot of things changed and a lot of life lived in that 15 years if I make it that far. So yeah, that's just a look in my diaries and a few thoughts, and just, I don't know, I just wanted to chat and just really record this because I haven't done anywhere near as many diary or notebook videos as I expected this year. So I just wanted to let you all know I still love me pens and paper and writing by hand and all that. I've got me Twisby Eco in my top pocket as always. Absolutely love. Oh, I mean, what a wonderful pen. You can't really see it because of the light, but I just love the way having the inkwell in that centre part there so you can see the ink all moving around. Lovely stuff. Anyway, my friends, I've just finished writing the next book that will be released, so stay tuned because that will be out very, very soon indeed. It's going back to the canals, but it's definitely nothing to do with living on a boat. It's a story rather than a real life thing, so I hope it's very, very different, so I hope you'll be interested and hope you'll take a look at that when it's out very soon. But yeah, until the next time, my friends, just have an absolutely fantastic day. If you're interested in reading my books about my boat life and other stuff, then check the links in the description below. If you want to see loads of pictures and stuff from the great outdoors, feel free to find the links to the Facebook page and add me on Facebook, and there's loads of stuff going on. We've got all sorts of bits and pieces, and feel free to, well, just check the links in the description. I'll stop the plugs now. I need to go back to bed after all that election chaos. So thank you so much for tuning in. Have an absolutely fantastic day. Keep it interesting. Keep it pen, paper and notebook worthy. And until the next time, my friends, farewell. Oh, Dan Brown out.